Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Nzuri Books. It's been a while. My name is Desiree Crooks and I'm the author of my beautiful Afrocentric children's novel, Nzinga, the Great Warrior of Angola. Definitely check out my website at www.nzuribooks.com. So let's get started. This is a sport that is not for the faint at heart, but man oh man what a sport this is. Die-hard fans will exaggerate at how invigorating and free it feels to plummet to near death, diving through the air at 100 miles a minute, only to be hoisted back up by one's ankles at incredible speed and then plummeting down again, allowing this to happen repeatedly until it comes to a complete stop, and you're left dangling in the air head first. Now for others, the sheer terror of watching a friend, family, or loved one or some unknown person take the plunge before their very eyes, standing there feeling a tight knot in their stomach for fear of the other person's safety, may sometimes leave one asking the question, why on earth would some crazy idiot want to do this? Is the rush worth all that trouble? Then there are the others who look at this sport as child's play compared to a lifelong tradition for them that is far more dangerous and life-threatening than a mere bungee jumping could ever be. Some of you listening to me may be wondering, where am I going with this? What does bungee jumping have to do with Africa? Well, to start, I'll throw a question at you. Where do you think bungee jumping originated from? If you said Africa, you're wrong. Keep in mind there are Black people around the world, and of course their ancestors originated from Africa, but they do not live in Africa. So let me ask you the question again. Where do you think bungee jumping originated from? David Kirk and Simon Keeling were the first to introduce bungee jumping to the world. And on April 1st, 1979, members of the Oxford University Dangerous Sports Club jumped off the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol 40 years ago. David Kirk, in a top hat and tails, with a glass of champagne in one hand, was the first to make the jump, and his friend Simon Keeling followed closely behind. Both men were arrested shortly after the jump and then released on the promise they would never do it again. Of course, the warning fell on deaf ears. They continued in the U.S. from the Golden Gate Bridge to the Royal George Bridge, taking the new sport around the world. This extreme sport took off like wildfire. And up to now, over 1 million people worldwide have made the jump and lived to tell the story about it. Vanuatu is where it all began. Vanuatu is an island nation in the South Pacific Ocean, northeast of New Caledonia, east of Australia, and west of Fiji. Bungee jumping was inspired by the ritual known as land diving, which originated hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. It is said to have originated as a rite of passage for young men trying to prove their manhood. But legend has it that one day a woman who was very displeased with her husband wanted to run away. She ran into the forest and climbed a banyan tree. Her husband climbed the tree in pursuit of his wife, but unknown to him, she tied lanianas, which is also known as twines, around each of her ankles and jumped. He pursued after her and also jumped. While he died, she survived because the twines prevented her from hitting the ground on impact. Eventually, women performed the same act in respect and honor for the original woman before them. But the husbands were not comfortable watching their wives and were afraid for their safety in performing such a dangerous stunt. The men eventually took over and they began to perform this deadly feat. But instead of trees, they gradually made the transition to wooden towers. Hence came the title land diving. Building a dive tower is a time-honored science. The wood must be strong, so it is freshly cut. The vines that hold it together and act as jump ropes must be supple and elastic with plenty of sap inside. Otherwise, they might snap. An experienced village elder will select which vine to use. They will match them to the weight of each jumper. Then the ends will be shredded so the fibers can be twisted into a loop for the jumper's ankle. The judgment must be precise. If they are off even by 1 ounce of too much weight or 1 inch of dry vine, this can cause the vines to snap and will send the diver slamming into the ground. A fall can cause serious injury or even death. Land diving is known in the local Sa language as gol and in Bislama as nangol. It is a ritual performed by men of the southern part of Pentecost Island, Vanuatu. Men will jump off wooden towers from as high as 66 to 98 feet high. The idea is to jump from as high as possible and to land as close to the ground as possible. Keep in mind, land diving is done without any safety equipment except for the vines. The land diving ritual is associated with the annual yam harvest. It is performed annually in the month of April, May, or June, and attracts many tourists from around the world to watch this death-defying performance. A good dive is said to ensure a plentiful yam harvest, and the higher up the dive, the taller the crop. Villagers also believe land diving will enhance the health and strength of the divers. A successful dive removes the illnesses and physical problems associated with the wet season. Land diving is also considered as an expression of masculinity. It is said to demonstrate strength and courage that is associated with a warrior. The men who do not choose to dive or back out will be humiliated and considered to be cowards. Extreme sports enthusiasts from around the world will many times offer to pay hundreds of dollars to try land diving themselves. But the elders are very hesitant and have only made a few exceptions. So there you have it. That brings us to the end of another video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to support me and you want to see more videos, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the bell. That way, when a new video becomes available, you'll be notified. Follow me on all my social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Give me the thumbs up. Definitely check out my website at www.inzuribooks.com. Stay tuned. I have 3 toddler books that will be released this summer. Peace, blessings, and much love. Until next time.